Certain people exist resonating at an elevated energetic level, and they exhibit through distinct, unmistakable manifestations that bear no relation whatsoever to the recitation of superficial affirmations or engagement in simple spiritual practices. These particular indicators are not qualities one can acquire through sheer force of will or by attending a temporary restorative gathering. They are energetic realities, observable effects that commence their pronounced influence well beyond your physical organism and your external existence. When the architecture of your inner world reaches a state of profound coherence, the effect is comparable to having finely calibrated your personal instrument to its ideal pitch, completing the very symphony of reality to align itself with your fundamental tone. The focus of our subsequent examination is the practical, empirically accessible proof of the principles I have devoted my scholarship to comprehending, the tangible alterations that materialize when an individual achieves genuine psychic integration. These three indicators are not abstract mystical symbols. They constitute tangible, nearly scientific phenomena that become apparent within your daily experience. You shall now be instructed on how to recognize them, grasp their etiology, and perceive what they disclose concerning the constitution of your soul. Before we dive deep into this profound topic, I want to invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're seeking deeper wisdom about the psychology of everyday life, subscribe to Inner Wise Woman. We explore the hidden meanings behind our mind and what they reveal about our soul's journey. For to function from a position of high vibration is not an act staged for an unseen audience. It is rather the pure, unmediated consequence of radical inner honesty. It is possible you have already encountered these alterations, perhaps dismissing them as peculiar fortune or even a signal that some disorder was present. You might have perceived a fundamental alteration within your being, a shift you were unable to precisely define. This discourse serves as your lexicon. This is the thorough psychological analysis of an authentic vibrational signature, and it clarifies precisely why these three phenomena shall never be reduced to a common enumeration of pleasant maxims. They possess too much potency, are too self-evident, and present far too great an obstacle to be utilized in the machinations of the spiritual ego. The first sign, the body's physiological rejection. The first sign is somatic, and its declaration is brutally direct. Sign 1, the body's physiological rejection. Your physical organism becomes an unwavering polygraph for your soul. It initiates a physical evolution of anything that stands in discord with your core truth. This is not merely a vague sensation of being unwell. It is a swift and undeniable physiological response to inner dissonance. It could manifest as a sudden, incapacitating migraine that appears the moment you consent to an undertaking that betrays your core principles. It might be a wave of debilitating nausea that washes over you just as you are about to pronounce a yes when every cell in your body is crying no. Or perhaps it is a profound, bone-deep exhaustion that is medically unexplainable, emerging solely when you spend time in settings or with individuals who require adopting a mask. These are not the typical manifestations of psychosomatic symptoms, which frequently represent the desperate cries of unaddressed trauma. This is a state far more advanced. This is your body's innate somatic intelligence becoming fully operational. I understood that through profound psychic integration, the core self commissions your body to act as the ultimate guardian of your authenticity. Your physical form thus becomes a resonant chamber for your frequency, and it will no longer endure incongruity. For an individual who has attained high integration, persistence in a career that demands utter conformity, or a relationship that necessitates the abandonment of the self, triggers genuine physical distress. Your body ceases to react simply to stress. It commences reaction against frequency betrayal. Have you ever experienced such a sensation? That instant you attempt to force your way through a situation out of obligation, fear, or guilt, and your body simply shuts down. It is as if your immune system initiates a deliberate protest before your conscious intellect can even commence rationalizing the compromise. This is the phenomenon of physiological rejection. Your energetic signature has become so finely tuned that it's safer capable of metabolizing instantaneously the dissonance resonating through the compromise. This is not weakness, this is precision. Your vessel has been recalibrated to such an extent that it can no longer tolerate vibrational pollution without immediate physical consequence. What makes this particularly significant is the speed and clarity of the response. There is no ambiguity. There is no gradual decline that you might rationalize away over weeks or months. The rejection is immediate, unmistakable, and often quite severe. Your body is speaking in a language that cannot be misinterpreted or intellectualized away. This physiological rejection also serves another crucial function. It prevents you from sustaining situations that would otherwise slowly erode your frequency over time. Before this level of integration, you might have been able to endure misaligned circumstances for extended periods, slowly depleting yourself without full awareness of the cost. Now, your body intervenes before significant damage can occur. The wisdom here is profound. Your consciousness has essentially installed a fail-safe mechanism that operates independently of your mental reasoning or emotional attachments. Even if your mind wants to justify staying in a situation, even if your emotions are conflicted, your body delivers an unequivocal verdict. This is perhaps one of the most compassionate gifts your soul can give you, a guardian that cannot be manipulated by fear, guilt, or conditioned obligation. The second sign, the instantaneous emotional recoil. The second sign is emotional and it operates with surgical precision. Sign 2, the instantaneous emotional recoil. There exists a particular quality of immediate visceral response that emerges when your frequency encounters something fundamentally incompatible with your energetic truth. It is not anger in the conventional sense, nor is it sadness or anxiety. It is a pure, undiluted, energetic no that reverberates through every layer of your being before your rational mind has the opportunity to construct a justification. You enter a space, and within mere seconds, perhaps even before conscious thought has formed, you sense it. The atmosphere feels wrong. The energy is misaligned. The conversation, though seemingly benign on the surface, carries an undertone that grates against your nervous system like nails on glass. This is not paranoia. This is not projection. This is your consciousness responding to frequencies that no longer resonate with the vibration you have worked so diligently to stabilize. The interesting phenomenon here is that this response is no longer mediated by the mind. It does not require analysis, interpretation, or validation from external sources. It simply is. The emotional recoil functions as an immediate boundary, a non-negotiable statement from your soul that declares, "This does not align." What makes this particularly significant is that it often contradicts social conditioning. You may find yourself recoiling from situations that society insists you should appreciate, from individuals whom others consider exemplary, from opportunities that logic suggests you should pursue. And yet, the recoil persists. This is because your energetic discernment has become more reliable than your conditioned responses. You have reached a state where your internal compass supersedes external validation. The emotional recoil is not merely a feeling to be managed or overcome. It is intelligence. It is your consciousness protecting the integrity of the frequency you have cultivated. When this sign activates, the appropriate response is not to question it, but to honor it. To trust that your system has access to information that your conscious mind has not yet processed. To understand that this immediate response is the result of years of inner work consolidating into a refined mechanism of discernment that operates faster than thought itself. This emotional recoil can manifest in various ways. Sometimes it's a sudden tightness in your chest when someone speaks words that sound reasonable but feel energetically hollow. Sometimes it's an inexplicable urge to leave a gathering that appears perfectly pleasant on the surface. Sometimes it's an immediate withdrawal of warmth towards someone whose intentions don't match their presentation. What's crucial to understand is that this recoil is not reactive in the conventional sense. It's not emerging from unhealed wounds or defensive patterns. It's the opposite. It's emerging from such profound healing that your system has recalibrated to recognize and reject what would have once been invisible to you. Before this level of integration, you might have rationalized away these subtle signals. You might have convinced yourself that your discomfort was unfounded, that you were being judgmental, that you should give people or situations more chances. Now, the signal is so strong and so clear that rationalization becomes impossible. Your consciousness has evolved to the point where it protects you automatically without requiring conscious deliberation. The third sign, the dissolution of tolerance for energetic misalignment. The third sign is the most subtle and perhaps the most profound. Sign 3, the dissolution of tolerance for energetic misalignment. There arrives a phase in consciousness development where what was once merely uncomfortable becomes genuinely intolerable. Not in a dramatic sense, but in a quiet, absolute way. You discover that you can no longer maintain the previous level of adaptation to environments, relationships, or situations that demand you to diminish your frequency. The capacity for compromise that once seemed like maturity reveals itself as a form of self-betrayal. You realize that what you previously interpreted as flexibility was actually fragmentation. This is not about becoming rigid or judgmental. It is about the natural consequence of coherence. When your internal frequency stabilizes at a higher level, maintaining that stability requires different conditions than were necessary before. Just as a finely tuned instrument requires specific environmental conditions to maintain its calibration, your consciousness requires alignment to sustain its frequency. The dissolution of tolerance manifests in practical ways. You can no longer engage in conversations that feel hollow, even if they appear pleasant. You can no longer participate in activities that drain your energy, even if they are socially expected. You can no longer remain in spaces where the frequency is misaligned, even if leaving is inconvenient. What distinguishes this from mere preference or personality is the cost of override. When you attempt to force yourself into these situations despite the internal signal, the consequence is immediate and severe. It is not merely discomfort. It is a rapid degradation of your energetic state that can take days or even weeks to restore. This creates what appears to be selectivity, but is actually necessity. You are not choosing to be particular. You are responding to the non-negotiable requirements of maintaining the frequency you have achieved. The energy required to function in misaligned conditions exceeds the benefit of participation. This sign often brings with it significant life changes. Careers end, relationships conclude, social circles transform, not because of conscious decision alone, but because the energetic incompatibility becomes so pronounced that continuation is no longer viable. And while this may appear from the outside as upheaval, from the inside it feels like alignment, like the natural shedding of what no longer serves the frequency you have become. The dissolution of tolerance also reveals something important about the nature of high-frequency living. It demonstrates that maintaining an elevated vibration is not a passive state, but an active one that requires vigilant protection of your energetic environment. You cannot maintain coherence while simultaneously exposing yourself to persistent dissonance. This might seem limiting from a conventional perspective. It might appear that you're becoming less adaptable, less resilient, less capable of functioning in diverse circumstances. But this interpretation misses the essential point. You're not becoming weaker, you're becoming more refined. Your capacity for discernment has sharpened to the point where you can detect subtle frequencies that most people cannot perceive. Think of it this way: a person with ordinary hearing might be able to function in a noisy environment without difficulty. But someone with extremely sensitive, refined hearing would find that same environment genuinely painful. Their sensitivity isn't a weakness, it's a capacity that operates at a level beyond normal range. The same principle applies to energetic sensitivity. The integration of all three signs. These three signs, the body's physiological rejection, the instantaneous emotional recoil, and the dissolution of tolerance for energetic misalignment, are not spiritual concepts to aspire toward. They are natural consequences of genuine psychic integration. They emerge not from effort, but from the stabilization of your consciousness at a frequency that can no longer coexist with what is fundamentally discordant. When you recognize these signs in yourself, it is confirmation that your inner work has produced tangible results, that you are no longer operating from theory or intention, but from an established vibrational reality, that your consciousness has reorganized itself in such a way that it automatically protects and preserves the frequency you have cultivated. What's particularly important to understand is that these three signs work together as an integrated system. The physiological rejection serves as the most basic, immediate level of protection. Your body simply won't allow you to continue. The emotional recoil provides the next layer, giving you immediate feedback about energetic compatibility before you've even fully engaged. And the dissolution of tolerance represents the deepest level, the fundamental recalibration of what your consciousness can maintain coherence within. Together, these three signs create a comprehensive guidance system that operates across physical, emotional, and energetic dimensions. They ensure that you remain in alignment with your true frequency, not through constant conscious effort, but through automatic, built-in mechanisms that have become part of your operating system. This is what it means to vibrate at an elevated frequency, not the performance of spiritual practices, but the lived experience of a consciousness that has fundamentally transformed its relationship with reality. A consciousness that no longer tolerates, no longer overrides, no longer compromises the integrity of its vibrational truth. The emergence of these signs marks a point of no return in your evolution. Once your system has recalibrated to this level of sensitivity and discernment, you cannot voluntarily return to previous levels of tolerance. This isn't a choice you make. It's a transformation that has already occurred at the deepest levels of your being. Your frequency has stabilized at a new baseline, and everything in your life must now align with that baseline or naturally fall away. This can be challenging, particularly in the transition period when these signs first emerge with full force. You might find yourself suddenly unable to engage with people, places, and situations that were previously manageable. You might experience what appears to be a destabilization of your life, as various elements that are no longer frequency compatible begin to dissolve. But this apparent chaos is actually profound order expressing itself. Your consciousness is simply aligning your external reality with your internal frequency. Everything that cannot match or support your vibration is being cleared away to make space for what can. This is not punishment or failure. It's the natural physics of consciousness operating at a higher frequency. The key is to trust the process, to trust your body when it rejects, to trust your emotions when they recoil, to trust the dissolution of your tolerance as guidance rather than limitation. These signs are not obstacles to overcome, but allies supporting your continued evolution. They are the evidence that your inner work has fundamentally transformed not just your beliefs or intentions, but the actual operating system of your consciousness.